When you first decided to take your message from the in-person meetup groups, right, locally where you are, take it online, what were the first things that you did to migrate from in-person to the digital realm? And then how did that evolve to where you are now, and what are you doing now? So start with what you started with.
Yeah. I wish I could probably be more helpful in this particular category of it. Unfortunately, it actually comes really natural for me. And so what I found in my life and what I found in interviewing and talking to other people is that when people are naturals at stuff, it's almost worthless to talk to them. But the best people to talk to are the ones that really struggled really hard because they had to figure out like a system for how to do it. But I'll explain it in just a context of what my experience was like in case anybody else wants to learn from that. And it was really simple. All I did was, my first podcast was actually on biggerpockets.com. I think it was podcast 109. And what I did is I wrote some articles for them. I was like, hey, here's some stuff I know about asset protection for real estate investors. Check out my articles. I think they're great. And I published them through their blog, right? They were like, wow, this is really good content. Can you come up with a top 10 list of top 10 strategies people should know? I was like, no problem. So that took me about 30 minutes. I talked to him for about another 15 minutes in a pre-interview, and then we just shot the show. And it was in shooting the show. I mean, I have a lifetime experience of doing stage theater. So being in our performance aspect in podcasts feels really natural for me. And to just get on there and talk to people about it, as well as being in debate, and also being an attorney, right? So like critical thinking, public speaking, performance, all of these like natural skills that I had built over my lifetime happen to work really well in podcasting. And so I'd probably say, like, as an advice for that is to look for, what are the skill sets that, somebody spent like their life developing and honing in on, and then use that as their marketing channel. Because probably that's going to be the thing that they're able to do and win at the easiest.
Well, what I remember seeing, and you and I have known each other for quite a while now, what I remember seeing come out of your office were some really good blog posts, some articles, and then you started doing your own podcast. Maybe I just got onto this later, but you started with articles as well, right? You started doing a blog online. How did you decide what you were going to write about? I mean, we talked about things, addressing objections head on, but was there an actual process? Did you sit down and sketch out a list of articles that you were going to write about over a period of time? Or how did you do that?
I wish, Adam, that I had your level of planning and detail as one of my core skill sets. I don't. I live very much in a moment-to-moment type of existence, right? So you'd find me finding out, it's like, where did you get that idea from to write that article? It's like, oh, because I talked to a lead or a client that had this new type of issue that I hadn't dealt with before. I troubleshot it, and then I wrote an article about it. And then what I would do when I got that issue again is I would just direct people to an article instead of having to redo that conversation. So for me, it's always worked as like sales and marketing always have to work together. What you really got to do is you got to get in front of your people, that whoever it is that you're trying to help, and continually try to find out what are the more problems that they're running into. What ways can you make their life better? You have those conversations with them, which gives you the topics to write about. You do the research to be able to help that customer or client, and then you turn that into an article or a podcast or something else that you redirect for any future conversations, so you never have to go and like repeat yourself inside of like a whole nother atmosphere. At least that's the dream, right? But that's how I kind of naturally, organically built what the base of info is that I wanted to share with people.